Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children, no children, happy hour. Welcome. It's Christopher Rausch. It's Friday night. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here in Southern California. So we welcome you to the happy hour with myself and my beautiful usual co-host who will be here in just a second. He is fashionably late, probably doing his hair. But anyways, welcome. We love to have you here on these Friday nights, these informal situations where we just sit around. And currently I'm sitting around the campfire in my own backyard. So I wish you guys lots of wealth, health, and happiness wherever you are tonight, whether you're watching this on the replay or watching this live. I'm enjoying a beautiful evening out in the backyard with my family. My wife is out here playing with the dog, and that's what we're doing here. Is we're just having a good time, really taking in the moments of what we can with what we've got, right? As of the taping of this particular program, if you're watching on a replay, we're still going through COVID. We're still going through a lot of things here in the United States, especially, and we're looking for opportunities to make sure. What in the heck is he? I'm in the show. Are you in the show? How are you in the show? Oh, this thing. I'm not going to do this ever again. How are you on the show? Did you send the right? I sent you another link on your text. I sent you a link on the text. I swear to God, this is so much fun. It's so much fun to do it out by the patio, but when I'm not sitting in my studio, things don't seem to go right, but that's okay because it's 5 o'clock and we're just sitting here having a good time. Yeah, I sent you the updated link in the thing. This should be the 5 o'clock thing. So check your text, fool. So anyways, wherever you guys are at in the world, we love you. We appreciate you being here. I'm just going to check. Do me a favor and say something in the comments. Let us know who's here tonight. And of course, as always, hi, Patricia. Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Friday night up there in Canada. How's the weather up there? I imagine it's a little chilly here in Southern California. So I've got the fire on out here in the backyard. And I'm just trying to see where my beautiful co-host is. But thank you, Patricia, for checking in. Hope you guys are all doing wonderful tonight. And this is the Friday night happy hour. And what we want to do is just have informal conversations about what's going right in your life and what potentially you need some guidance on. That's what Scott and I bring you every single week, whether it was the Friday night live show or just sitting here kicking it, bringing you guys the dish on what is the real experience in life and what we're supposed to be doing. Hey, Leanne, good to see you. Long lost friend from Texas. What's up? Good. Looking forward to meeting you one day. Ellie, great to see you from the UK. Hope you're having a blessed day so far and the kiddies are doing well. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what Scott is. It's crazy. I haven't actually sent it to him. Oh, well, I'll just freeform for a second. Oh, there we go. Anyways, so what's going on in your lives tonight? What things are you looking forward to in 2021? We've had a very interesting 2020, of course, and by all accounts, there are lots of people out there in the world who have taken this time to become stronger, to rise above their challenges, and to look forward to pivoting and changing themselves in order to embrace uncertainty and embrace the newness of the world that's going to be before us. And then some of us have not. Some of us have actually backpedaled and fallen into the traps of, what it means to be fearful or what it means to be in lack, what it means to not have the confidence to proceed in things. And that's what we want to bring you. We want to have that discussion with you guys tonight. What do you need for 2021? What things are you looking for? And, Scott and I are just going to share. We're just going to talk about whatever. I believe he is here. Let's get him in here. Add to screen.
What's up, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, that link. I was just sitting in there waiting for you. I'm like, you said it coming earlier, and then you weren't there. I was like, okay.
I can't. You're coming in really sketchy.
You can't hear me? I can't hear you that well either.
No, you're coming in real kind of like a machine gun.
You sound the same way. Like you're sounding really choppy to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Am I choppy to everybody else? I mean, I have no idea.
We're both choppy. Are we both choppy? Hey, guys in the chat room, are we choppy? You got to let us know.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this is the last time I do it from the backyard.
I can log back in.
Are we choppy? Randy, Ellie.
Choppy.
Leanne.
Is everybody choppy or no?
I'm choppy.
Yeah, you were coming in choppy to me when I was listening, but
actually, I can hear you both. You both sound good.
Okay. So don't worry about anything else then.
Fuck, I can't read lips, dude. I can't understand a single word you're saying.
All right.
Here, you talk for a minute. I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay, sounds good. So, Chris and I, like we were talking about, we're trying to do a lot of stuff to be the change that we're always talking about. We can't just sit here and tell you guys make these changes, shift your mindset, all the things that we're doing. So I'm 5 days deep in a cleanse where I'm eating absolutely nothing. So I started that cleanse. You have to drink a 16-ounce bottle of olive oil. And then that was horrific. And then you take herbs every day. So I'm taking all these herbs and just drinking raw vegetable juice. So right now I'm not sure if I'm making any sense at all, because I feel like I'm gonna lose my mind. I mean, I'm a huge eater. So everything that like Chris and I are saying, we're doing a full mind, body, and spirit cleanse. For me, I've already started it. I'm doing this for 7 days. Then I actually have 2 weeks of just pure vegetarian with like tons of herbs. Be the change that we're always talking. Like Chris and I are saying, we're doing a full mind, body, and spirit cleanse.
It's so weird. It's so weird. On here it's fine. On here it's choppy. So I'm just gonna. Well, it's not even.
Be the change that we're always talking.
Say something.
I'm on time delay. I'm listening to me like before.
It's so weird. I can't understand what you're saying. On here it's choppy. So I'm just gonna. Well, it's not even. So you're fine. Just keep talking.
Yeah. Just start doing it from your studio again. So yeah, so what Chris and I really want to do is we want to do all the things that we're telling you to do, and not just do it a little bit, but go full all in. So, the things that I've been doing as I've been, we've been coaching together and coaching our clients. I've been investing in like the best shoes, buying, things for me to get healthier, investing in myself. Even though we're coaches, I have a coach too who works with me on some of the stuff that I always call my blind spots. And, visualize Tiger Woods or something. You might say, all right, okay, if you're a pro at something, why would you have a coach? Well, the coach sees the fact that you dropped your elbow or you leaned in a little too far. So even the coaches should have coaches. And so we're walking the walk and doing all of that. The cool thing is I'm challenging myself at levels that I never wanted to do. Honestly, I take that back. I wanted to do, I was never willing to do. Because I've done 3-day cleanses before and I go a little crazy, but I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's no real light at the end of this tunnel for 21 days. So what happens for me is I literally start to feel like I'm going to hallucinate, or I am hallucinating. And every time I'm not in an activity, if my brain is free for a second, I'm begging to eat. Like I smell something. I'm like, is that food? Is that food? Chris, it's getting crazy. Like I keep doing things. I go take a yoga class. I'm walking out and somebody's sweating. I'm like, is that food? Is that food? Like,
did you have bacon for breakfast?
Yeah. What are you eating? What are you eating? What's that smell in that sweat? Is that curry? That smells good. That smells good.
Is that curry?
So
I should tell you my kimchi story one day. Ooh.
Yeah. So the point is, I think I might be losing my mind, but I love it. I love it. I know I'm going to come through it all.
You loved it. Well, that's one thing about you that, Scott, and just knowing you in the few months that we have known each other is the fact that you love to challenge yourself. You like to push yourself to that nth degree. And we've talked about David Goggins before, and the fact I call it the Goggins factor. It's like, that's one end of the spectrum. And then there's the other end of the spectrum where people sit there and hope, wish, and pray that someday they're going to change, and they don't. How do you really find that internal drive, that internal passion to say, listen, I know that this is going to be a sacrifice. I know that technically I might be suffering, but I know on the end of that it's going to be making me stronger. How do you set your mind up for that success?
It's funny. Like I'm going to back into something real quick. A lot of times people will say that salespeople are born and can't be made. And the only reason I'm sharing that is because this is another one of those situations. I think a lot of people say, well, some people just have it, and we can define it as it. They say they just have it. They're people who can go out and just make things happen, and it's easy for them. So I'm going to challenge that, because I think that a lot of people can be made into great salespeople, and some people who are assumed to be great salespeople won't be. And I think the same thing with this situation. So I'm going to give you my little tips. First and foremost, man, you've said it and I've said it. People overthink the crap out of stuff. So today, Chris and I were talking about what will be the tagline for our show. And I'll reveal it right now because it's very appropriate.
Yep.
So what we were doing was we were trying to figure out what the end result of our show would be. So it's the unfiltered experience. So we kept coming up with bringing people together, helping people solve problems, being a catalyst. So you have great transformations. And it sounded like fluffy bullshit, and it was forcing you to do something. And it was forcing you to do something that we're directing. That's not what we do. We give you tools to go on your pathway. So we decided what it needs to be is something very simple, and we came up with jump into it. So Chris is always talking about jump. We're talking about the moments. So whatever your moment is, whatever you're about to do, jump into it. And you can't buy the domain name and get it from underneath this because I already bought it. So just in case you like that. And we're going to hashtag the heck out of that too. But to that point, that's really the whole thing. You've got to train people to stop thinking. We preach critical thinking and thinking so much, and it's very important. But that's once you're already in the moving. Think critically about what's my next decision, but stop thinking about the start. You could sit here all day and go, well, once I have this, or once I have that, if I make this much money, if I get that car, once she does this, once he does, it's all bullshit. I mean, you could go all day long. I mean, what do you think, Chris? Like, what else can you add to that? 'Cause I think it's that simple. I really do.
No, I love it. I love it. And after we got off the phone call, we were taking Jackson over to the doctor's appointment. And I asked my wife, I said, she knows what we've been going through. And she really loved when I came downstairs. I'm like, we figure it's the impulsive experience. She's like, ooh, that sounds good. And so I told her all this time that we've been like, okay, what is it? What is it? What is it? Like that one clicked. And then when you said that, you'd like, yeah, jump into it. Cause I am always saying jump. We are saying jump. And like I sent them, I don't know if you saw the message, but I was thinking about it when I was in the doctor's office, and I'm like, we had talked about, we were both in the corporate world. We were both very successful financially with positions and all sorts of benefits, all the different things. We had it made. We were comfortably miserable. And until you really get to that point in your life where the pain is so great that the pain of regret is outweighing the comfortableness of being miserable, that's where people got to get to. They got to make themselves get to that edge of that cliff and jump and understand and have that confidence that, yes, things are going to be uncertain. Things are going to be, unpredictable. Things are going to be scary. Things are going to be everything, but that's what life is about. And I love that, Scott, because it's just like, it's the Nike commercial, just do it. But we're just saying, jump into it, jump into your uncomfortableness, jump into your freak flag, jump into having those vulnerable conversations, jump into forgiving yourself, jump into the shit that you've been avoiding your entire life.
Yes. That's it. I mean, it's like, as you say it out loud, it sounds even better because I've been processing it. But the problem is every time I start processing, I start thinking of food, which has been throwing off my processing. But that's it, dude. Like, as you're saying it out loud, it's beautiful because there's 99% of what anybody helps anybody understand or empowers somebody to process in personal development, in truth, at the end of the day, could completely be thrown away if you just jumped into it. And I'm not saying that there's not value to what we're doing, because what we're doing is we're helping you reboot your thought processes. But if you could dig as deep as heck to superconscious and find the power, you could just say, enough of this. You could literally do it. The problem is, as humans, we've got so much stuff, that's so much clutter, that we kind of need to go through pieces one at a time. But realistically, you could say, enough, I'm done, and fix it. You can. It's very difficult to do that. That's why I love it, because we give people enough tools. So in one moment, people can say, enough, I'm making the choice to be happy. Enough, I'm making the choice to be healthy. Enough, I'm making the choice to be in a good relationship. Enough, and that's it. And I know in hindsight, it's easy to say that because we see those situations. This is the last thing I want to do in reality, is this stupid ass cleanse. It's making me miserable. But I'm sitting here saying, if not now, when? I want to do this, I want to do that, and all these things I want to do, like lose some weight, get in shape, be able to dunk a basketball again. The only way that's going to happen is if I just shut up and do it. And don't just do it a little bit, go all in, pretend you're a pro athlete. Like, do it at the highest level. And that's what we're missing as humans, is we get so complacent. What do you think, Chris?
I'm going to be totally honest with everything you just said. Came through
Gobbled.
So choppy, but I know you so well that I can figure out what you were saying, which is kind of creepy. That's why I'm walking around my backyard going, because you were fine, and then I couldn't hear you. Am I fine to you?
Yeah, you now you are. Yeah. You get a little fuzz now and then, but not really.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. So I'm going to take a stab at where you left off. But yeah, I mean, talking about having our comfort zones and having everything else, and the most important part of it is hey, Peggy, good to see you. Peggy, we got to get Peggy to be on our show. Peggy, she's a fireball. She is super cool. She's super awesome. She's straightforward. She's real shit. She's cool people. She's got a reality show coming out. It's going to be pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, but like Patricia says, Patricia's one of our untouchables in our mastermind, untouchables. Hey, we're all touchable. She says, jump into it. Awesomeness. Thank you so much, Patricia. We really appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's about Scott and I taking our experiences throughout our life, taking all the education, taking all the training, taking all the experiences, coaches and speakers and mentors, and really taking what we did in Friday Night Live, which is something that came together during COVID, and saying, okay, listen, we've impacted a lot of people just by just showing up and having some guests and doing these things. How can we crank that up? How can we really send a mission to people, and really identifying what our target market is and making sure that we're delivering value to you guys for spending your time with us? I realize that tonight everything's kind of wonky and we're just having a 5 o'clock happy hour, but really taking it to that next level and serving it whatever it is that you guys might be needing, and really demonstrating and sharing through our vulnerability and through our processes. Like Scott's saying, here he is pushing himself and to better himself mentally, physically, and spiritually. He's gone through a lot of shit this year to bring himself up to a higher level of being a better teacher and a better human and a better father and a better wife. We want to share those experiences with you. Like, I'm going to start a fitness program here very quickly, and I'm going to be we're going to be documenting both of our fitness programs, our fitness progress, is just to kind of show you how normal everyday people do it, but why we do it and how we do it and how we stay motivated and how we stay going. And that's really the critical component. You can look at 2020 and say, hey, listen, this was a shitty year, and this sucked and that sucked and that sucked, and I wonder what's going to happen next. Or you can sit there and say, you know what, it is what it is. Here's what I learned. Here's what I could take away from it. Here's how I can become stronger. And 2021 is going to be my year, and you guys can decide that. You guys can make that commitment. You guys can make that investment. You guys can make that promise to yourself that you're going to make 2021 your year.
Yeah. And we talk about tolerating things like all the time. And I love to do that. Like, what's in what hand, what's in the other. Right now, I could be doing this. I could be a very athletic, able, capable 50-year-old who's living well. And I could be eating and doing everything I want. And from the outside looking in, most people would say, oh, dude, you're in great shape. You're this, you're that. But then I could say, but with a little bit of pain and a little bit of frustration and irritation in these moments, I can take this next level. I can lose probably 15 pounds, get insanely lean and strong. I can be able to jump out of the gym again. I can go to the chiropractor. I can do yoga. I can do all these things that are proactive to me being even better. And if I can do that, why am I not doing it? Like, you get to a point where the resources are available. I have all these resources, and I keep saying, well, maybe, let me see, or I might do that tomorrow. And it's so silly that you wouldn't take in all of that. Chris had an amazing woman who, was missing limbs and all this, who's done all these amazing things on his show the other day. I've got a good friend who went blind at 22. He's run 17 Boston marathons. He's about to run an ultra this week. I think it was yesterday, actually. He climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. And so when we see these people who are literally in far worse situations than us doing all of that, and then we don't because we make excuses, we'll do it tomorrow. I'll be honest, it's starting to get to a point where it's irritating me, and I don't want to be part of that group. I really don't. I don't want to be part of that. Like, I'm going to be part of the group who's excelling at everything I do, period. Not decent, excelling. When you see me, you're going to say, somehow he kicks ass at everything. And I'm going to tell you the somehow. I'm not tolerating anything less anymore. That's it. It's that simple. So,
I love that. Tolerations. I mean, let's talk about that. That's one thing that Coach Sally had me do that exercise last year. And she's like, Chris, what are you tolerating? And I'm like, not much. And she says, just list them out. And I really thought about it. And I came back to her and I had like 8 things. She's all, come back to me. Really think about what you're tolerating. And I came back with 30 things, Scott. And I was like, I'm really tolerating a lot of stuff that I don't need to tolerate. And why am I tolerating it? Because I'm a people pleaser, because I'm a perfectionist, because I'm this, because I'm that. And I'm like, well, what if I wasn't those things? Would I tolerate those things? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. If I was not that person, would I tolerate those things? And what would my life be if I didn't have 50% of the weight on my back that I really don't need to have? So I mean, that's a great point, is like, what are we tolerating? I do it myself. I'm like, I'm tolerating kind of being, really good, but I could be really awesome, like you're saying. So that's what I love about you, is that you're like me, is like, okay, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to share it. Like when I did 75 hard, I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And I did the videos and I'm like, here's me doing it. Here's me at 1:00 in the morning, walking around Rancho Santa Margarita, because I made a promise to myself. So I think that's really important, Scott, is like, you set up, you have a legacy, you have a vision for what you want. You skip what you're tolerating, you get rid of the excuses, you get around the people that are going to move you and support you and hold you accountable and tell you the fucking truth. And there's nothing you can't achieve, right?
There's nothing that you cannot achieve. I mean, when I look at, so there's another friend of mine, Sean Stevenson. And if you get a chance to go look at him, I met him at the National Speakers Association, one of the conferences. We both spoke. We both had programs we were delivering to kids at the time. and his program, well, he has adults too, but we're speaking at the kids conference, and his program was called Get Off Your Butts. And it's not just butts, as in physically, it's I would, but I could, but maybe I will, but Sean Stevenson is roughly 3 feet tall. Go Google him. He has a congenital disease that he came out 3 feet tall. His backbone isn't in place right. He's supposed to have not lived, past like 20. The guy has multiple PhDs, one of the smartest people I've ever met, massively inspirational. He's done it all. He's done it all. When you see these people, when I'm sitting next to Sean, I almost feel stupid because I'm like, I don't want to go for the run before happy hour. I just want to go straight to the happy hour. And he's sitting here telling me like he's got to go take a final for this PhD. He's got 6 other programs. He's got 4 group coaching calls, and I'm bitching that I can't go for a quick run. And so in that moment, you go for the run, but then you come home and Sean's not there and you kind of forget. Why do we need Sean? Why do we need everybody else? Why can't we just be in such gratitude that we're sitting here saying, I've got everything. I have every tool to create a dream world. But instead we say, but I don't like the president. I don't like the way that person treats me. Oh, I'm so mad about taxes or whatever shit. And you can, look, I'll address those things too and say I'm irritated with them and I'll fight injustice. But I'm certainly building a beautiful life simultaneously. It's not one-dimensional. This is not a one-dimensional world. It's what will you tolerate? So build yourself up to be so insanely powerful, which Chris and I are always challenging you to do. And we're going to, and again, I'm not half-assing any of it anymore. I mean, I'm pretty good about practicing what I'm preaching. I would say I'm damn good at it. I'm going to get so damn good that you can't even find the hole in what I'm doing. When you look, you go, oh shit, he's doing all of it. So now I got to do it. Because that's how I live. I got to go full extreme.
Yeah, you are a little extreme. Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting that back. I think I took a lull for a little bit just to kind of like regroup, and I'm. Well,
here's to your 16 ounces, or how many 16 ounces of pine sol you drank?
Yeah, olive oil. Hey, if anybody has nothing planned this weekend and you want to be miserable, I highly suggest that you drink 16 ounces of olive oil and see where that goes.
No, that's crazy.
If you have a first date, yeah, do it. See where that goes.
Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Dumb and Dumber? Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Let's take some of these comments. Paul, man, what's up, gentlemen? Good to see you,
hey,
brother.
Buddy.
Good to see you. Teresa says perspective and discipline makes such a difference. Absolutely. Stacy, Jolly's on here. What's up, Stacy? Good to see you. I just read your post earlier today. I'm glad things are getting in the direction they need to be going. So yeah, Stacy's done people pleasing and starting to live for me. Yes, I have. Stacy and I have been connected on Facebook. Jesus, how many years? Like forever. And we've always been in each other's lives. I've motivated her and inspired her, and I've just seen her process coming through. And yes, Stacy, that is truly amazing. I'm so thankful you're here on the show. Robert, what's going on? Robert Broker is here today. Buddy. He says, my mother once complained to me that her arms were getting smaller. She wanted them to get larger. Once she stopped resistance training on Tuesday and Thursday, her arms began to grow. Yeah, exactly. That's such a great point. Peggy says, amen. Just doing it. So challenging. Nike coined it. Just do it. We need to just do it. We need to stop bitching with you. Absolutely. So what do you guys out there? Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday nights with us. We appreciate it. What is it you guys want to know? What is it that's like the holdup in your brain thinking about 2021 and having some dreams, having some big dreams, having some dreams that really challenge you? What do you guys want to know? What questions do you want to ask us? Because I mean, we're sitting here giving you, free advice. We want to make the world a better place by who it is that we are and what it is that we do and we put out there. So we can do that by helping you. And Paul says, all about the perspective, just did a live on that today. I'm gonna have to check that out, brother. I've been away from the computer a little bit. Leon says, okay, but no way do I want to drink olive oil. That is so true.
You know what sucks? I love the Mediterranean diet and I love olive oil, and it's going to take me a little time to love olive oil again. And I deep down love it. And so now I'm going to look at olive oil for the next few weeks and be like, because it just doesn't feel right. Even thinking about it feels gross. Uh-oh. Do we lose you?
So, didn't lose me. Lost you.
You're back.
There you are. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're leaning forward too. We're all leaning forward. So Leanne says here, I am struggling starting a YouTube channel. Okay, well, that is definitely something that you're putting yourself out in front of people in God's country and camera. Of course, that's going to be a challenge, but let us know what specifically the struggle is. Is the struggle creating content? Is the struggle having the confidence to appear on camera? Let us know a little bit about what the struggle is, and we can give you a little bit more identity on what potential solutions are there. But just to say this for me, and Scott, I'll let you answer this as well. I know for me, the first time, even when I did my podcast, when I wasn't on video and I was sitting inside my studio in my house, my room, not being glamorous, I wasn't a studio, it was my bedroom that I created a studio out of. Not very expensively either. Is I sat in there and I was like, oh my God, I'm by myself. What am I going to say? Who am I talking to? Da, 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 da. And I was kind of like weird about it. So I went on and Googled it, and it says, speak to your avatar, find who your person is that you are truly talking to. Find that niche market, find that person, whether it's yourself or you're that little person in your side of you, and speak to that person. Imagine having a conversation with that person into the camera and really speaking into their heart. And that's one way I got over being camera shy. And honestly, it's just about time. You just keep doing it and keep doing it. Now, like, I did the show with Pam last night. It was like literally jumped on and did it. You just start feeling more confident and you just start having comfortable. But how did you start dealing with being in front of camera, Scott?
It's that slogan, dude. Just jumped into it. I mean, I'm not kidding. That's been 99% of my life is I start to feel fear. And before it can even get to the top of my spine, like before I can even feel it in my amygdala, I'm in the air. So it's literally that simple. Like I'm not kidding. Like the minute, I never forget Emmitt Smith saying this. He says that a running back's career always ends on hesitation. So the person's running, and they're getting a little older and suddenly they hesitate. That's when that hit takes you out of the league. That's going to happen in the real world too. If you don't hesitate, the world assumes you know what you're doing. And so even if you go in and there's a failure, you fail quickly, you learn from it. It's always a good experience. And when I say always a good experience, even the perceived bad experience is a good experience because it's a learning opportunity. End of story. It's that simple. Like I really believe that. Let's go to, what was it? Peggy had a great question. People are so afraid of accountability. Your thoughts on why? Chris, you want to go first on that? Or you want? Because I could do.
Go for it. Go for it.
Here's the thing.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Our whole world is trained on being right. Okay, from day one. What's the right answer? Mommy, like Chris is always talking about as a kid, like don't do this, don't do this. Well, what should I do? So once you figure out what you should do, you just want to be right. We're validated on our right. How many questions do you get right? How many questions did you get right on this? So it's all about being right. The minute you can get into the real world and relieve the pressure, just kind of being right, and we can hide from accountability and we're on autopilot, people love autopilot. The world has beaten us up so bad about failure. It's constantly saying, you're a failure, you're this, instead of saying that the organic byproduct of growth is occasional failure. So that failure has a lesson to say, I mean, think of this, like think if we're building, think of what was that, the computer that had, Big Blue or whatever it's called that played chess against that amazing guy.
Oh, yeah.
So in coming up with these algorithms or whatever to play the game, they fail, and then they know what not to do. Like that's what's happening. Like we're literally a supercomputer not allowing our growth because we're so damn afraid of not being right that we don't even let ourselves ask the questions anymore. We don't even step into the ring. So the minute you put your neck out there or you're accountable, it's easy to sit here and like find scapegoats or bullshit people or say, oh, I couldn't do this or that was his fault. The only reason I didn't do it. People hate accountability because they're horrified of the fact that they're going to continue to not be right. It comes from childhood. The minute we say failure is beautiful, I think that people start to become more accountable. I really do. And that's not across the board. There's other reasons. That's one of my biggest beliefs is the top reason.
I love that. What do you think of that, Peggy? What do you think of that? Yeah, no, dude, that was spot on. I love that. I love how you said that. For me, I like to keep it actually as much as I like to talk. I'm going to keep this one a little bit simpler. I think that, let me make sure people are afraid to go, what's your thoughts on why? People don't want to be held accountable because then they're going to have to do what they say they want to do. And that's scary. So that's why people don't go getting coaches. That's why people sit there and miserable in their life. Because accountability, even if you just so much as make a promise to yourself, I've proven this with people that I can't afford your coaching. I really want to coach with you. I'm like, here's what you can do. And I give them 3 things. Make a promise to yourself. Get up every day and fulfill that promise. Never stop. End of story. There, I'm your life coach. So if you do not have the ability to get up and do it every single day, then you need people in your life, whether it's a best friend, whether it's a, whoever it's going to be, a mentor, somebody who's going to say, hey, in a couple of weeks, I want you to tell me what you did and didn't do. And then I want you to explain to me why you did or didn't do those things. And then we're going to talk about what we're going to do next week. That's how you get progress. So people are afraid of accountability because it's easier for them to say, oh my God, one day I had this guy. I swear to God, I wanted to coach. He kept picking my brain for years and years. And I kept giving him stuff. He's like, man, one day I'm going to open up a taco truck. And I said, when are you going to open up a taco truck? Have you started making tacos? He's, oh man, I've got the logo design. I've got this design. And I said, have you sold a taco to anybody? Have you considered what insurance? Oh man, I'm going to have all these flavors. And I'm like, well, why aren't you doing it? And we started digging. It was like the dream was better than the reality because he was so scared shitless that he would not achieve his dream that he just wanted to tell people one day, but, oh, I've got kids and, oh, I've got this and, oh, I've got that. And that's really, Scott, why I came up with the no excuses. I'm like, you're full of shit, dude. You don't want it. You're full of crap. You've designed all this crap that you think that one day you're going to, if you win the lottery, you're going to do it. I said, but if you really wanted it, you would go after it. Why aren't you going after it? And it was like, nobody's holding you accountable. Okay, well, hold yourself accountable. So people don't like it because it's going to make them do the things that are uncomfortable to get them to where they want to go. And they rather bitch, piss, and moan about it and hope, wish, and pray and play the someday game and be comfortably miserable for the rest of their life. And then, unfortunately, end with regrets.
It's literally so simple. It's ridiculous. We are energy. We're sitting here as energy. We can have an exchange of energy. So we have a choice. We can sit here and we can just say everybody else isn't exchanging energy with me and it's all their fault. Or we can jump into it, that beautiful pool of energy, and we can become it. So how does that happen? You share your brilliance, you go in and the accountability will take care of itself. You start doing things to grow, you'll instantly be the accountable person. Lack of accountability, I still believe, is a byproduct of the fear of being your best self. It's all it is. Like you were saying, like so many times we try to attack a cause. Like we try to say, I want to become happy. Happiness is a byproduct of so much else. Accountability is a byproduct of so much else. I'm accountable when I'm healthy. I'm accountable when I'm on point. I'm accountable when I find my brilliance. I'm accountable when I align with my purpose. I stop being accountable when I'm like, wait, why was I doing that again? Why do I even teach? Why am I doing this? Because then I'm not sure about myself. So this really isn't rocket science again. I know we get sick of saying this, but there's nothing that we're saying that we wouldn't hold your hand through and walk you through and bring you out on the other side in our coaching program. You would walk out with all of this and 10 times more saying, why didn't I do that? We're 1,000% confident that would happen. And I get sick of saying it, but it's that simple. It really is. Because what's happening right now is, and I always use Tiger Woods as an example. Why does Tiger Woods have a coach? Because there's one or two blind spots of he's tucking his elbow in, he's leaning his hip forward, or something he's doing that's making him not win the tournament. And when you're that good at that point, it's the little things. So whether you're a beginner and there's plenty to fix, or you're at the pinnacle of your journey, there's something that someone else sees that you don't. And when they hand you the tools and say, are you sure? Are you sure? Then you go, epiphany, epiphany. Every week you have epiphany. And then you're 12 weeks in saying, are you kidding me? This is all it was? And we go, yes. And then you're like, no. And we're like, yes. And you walk out with a smile going, that was not as bad as I thought. Because we hold you accountable. There's a few moments you kick and cry like a baby and you're mad. And then you walk out better for it. And I'd say every single person that's in our group and individually coach would say the same thing. And I'm only sharing the coaching because we've been talking about it. And there's so many people I know in my personal life that I'm like, if you just did this, and you're like, you're so close. And it just drives me nuts when they're not reaching their peak because they're the littlest things. They're the finest details. They're the elbow in, the hip out, the head too far back, whatever. And they're so close. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Chris?
No, that's true. That's spot on. It really is light. I tell people all the time, and I used to do a lot more in my posts, is like, life is simple, quit complicating it. If you know where you want to go and you create a plan on how to get there, and you have people that hold you accountable or yourself accountable. Again, I sit there and tell people all the time, you don't need me as your coach. As long as you find an accountability partner that you can meet with every single week that's going to tell you, hey, you're fucking up and you're being stupid, here's what you need to be doing, then that's all you need. You just need to find an accountability partner who's going to do that. I have done that, and for the most part, accountability partners are always too nice, because I get away with shit, and I'm like, come on, I need somebody to sit there and say, okay, Chris, okay, you're the no excuses coach. What was your excuse this week? You said you were going to do it. We've identified that it was realistic. What, because when I approach here's an example. When I approach my writing sometimes, and I know it's super important to finish this book, and I know Patricia is watching because Patricia said Deep Blue. Sometimes I approach my writing and it's like, who's really going to read this? Why am I doing this? There's no immediate gratification for me sitting down and typing 3,000 words about my childhood that I really don't want to relive, but it's actually good for me to relive. Thank you, Patricia. So you have to look at what the end result is. You have to hold yourself accountable. You have to ultimately, and you know me, Scott, I'm always thinking about what is the root? What is the root cause? What is the core of what situation's going on? And I have found through this time in COVID, and I've mentioned this before, is that people are either they don't love themselves enough to make that investment, to make that, or they're punishing themselves for something they said or did in the past that they just haven't forgiven themselves with. So that's one of the things that I really loved about your program, was the fact of focusing on empathy and forgiveness in that. You know, what can we tell people who are sitting at home today and they're feeling like, okay, I've got it somewhat together and I'm feeling confident, but I don't know what to do, and I really want to make 2021 a better year for me. What are some tips that you've given your coaching clients to be able to at least set the needle in the right direction?
So in reality, it's the tagline. It's jump into it. That's the truth. Now, what I don't think anyone should ever do is say, here's the pathway. So the thing that I've said before is, if you're about to walk into the woods of life, and the woods of life, there's a few paths. Somebody can say, hey, go take that path because I took it and I did blank and I'm really happy. But that path might have changed. It might be covered up. There might be animals living there now. We don't know. But if I give you the tools, here's a tool to light fire. Here's a tool to, defend yourself against animals. Here's a tool to help you build shelter. You can use that on any path you go. So here's what I would suggest to people is identifying those tools. And so those tools for you, it may be formal education. You might be a structure-oriented person. For you, it might be, I just need somebody to be my mentor and just show me, like this is where or how I need to start, or an accountability coach or whatever. It might be that simple. But I can tell you this, there's nobody who won't benefit from a program that brings you all the tools. Here's the deal. Every single person is emotionally driven. Okay. We've lived our life and we've had actions. They start with feelings. There's an action, creates a feeling. We have an emotion. We work through it. It's a catalyst. It's fuel. We harness it because, well, I can't yell right now because I'm at a party. I don't want to cry in front of others, or whatever it is. Suddenly we're filled with emotions and it causes disease. That's where most people are at. So most people have been overtaken with emotion. They're miserable and they're saying, I've got all these other things to do. The irony is we're literally coming over to you saying, hey, do you want us to release all that emotion, or not release it? Do you want us to teach you to use the tools to release and utilize that emotion to be the best you possible? And I don't know anybody who deep down doesn't want that, but they say they don't have the time or the energy or whatever. And the simple truth is, trust the process. If you forgive yourself and others, if you're more empathetic to all, if you remove those emotions, if you detach from needs that are not really needs, they're things that you fictitiously, which we spend a good chunk of time on, you start to watch the people come out of it. It's it's simple stuff. It's just things that we never talk about. We're in such a reactive environment as a human. Go to work, do this, do this, do this. We're on autopilot. We're waking up on autopilot saying, what the hell is going on? And we're literally freaked out. And then someone says, hey, here's 5 tools or here's 8 tools that can fix it all. It almost sounds like fluffiness or something. And we're scared shitless to even take on the challenge because we're horrified. So here's the deal. Drop the fear. I don't even care if it does. If there's some other program that's better than ours, go do the other program. What I'm saying is go do what you need to do to elevate yourself to your true brilliance. I don't care where you find that. And I would do this. I would meditate on it. If you like Chris and I, do ours. If you got some other buddy, do theirs. If you want to go to do Tony Robbins, you believe that's it, go do it. I've got my theory. I wouldn't be teaching what I'm teaching if I didn't believe in it. But whatever feels right to you, because it's your journey. What I would suggest is, so one of the things we were sharing last week, and I don't want to keep going, Chris, because I've been talking too long, but one of the things I do want to share is when we were talking about resilience, we were sharing an acronym, and it's called TEAM. And it's, you got to have somebody in your circle of 5 that you can trust, somebody who's your energizer, your cheerleader, somebody who's an accountability person who's not going to let you get away with shit. Like Chris was just saying, they're going to say, no. You're full of crap. You're not going to do it. Do it today. And then a mentor. So the mentor who's been there. If you have these people in your group, every time you're doing something, there's going to be somebody in service to make sure you start, make sure you grow, make sure you take the next step. And they're all going to support you. That is a very important thing to do as well. What do you think, Chris? Sorry, I'm delusional.
No.
I haven't eaten.
No, you haven't eaten. Yeah, you got to get it out. No, I love hearing you talk because that way I learn too. It's not like you're saying stuff. I mean, stuff you're saying I know, but it's always good. I certainly believe that, and this is something that I found, I'm going to kind of go off on a tangent for a second, is that I found so many people in the personal development space, especially now in the last year, probably the last 5 or 6 years, and you as a speaker, mostly, I mean, you did a lot more speaking than I did. You can obviously see that there's a lot of people that go, oh, speaking, you make lots of money. That's what they hear. Before, you would never see speakers like, oh, speakers don't do anything. They don't make anything. All of a sudden, the speaking industry blew up. And all of a sudden, you have these hacks going out there trying to say, oh, listen, wrote this book on this thing. And they copied 95% of the shit out of, somebody that was old. I can't remember his name right now. I'm drawing a blank. The guy that was before Tony Robbins. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So there's a lot of people out there in the personal development space, the coach space, that have never been through the stuff. And my calling card is that, and I know that you feel this way as well, is that it's a pedigree. It's a life experience. When people say, where did you go to school? I went to the School of Adversity and I graduated from the College of Hard Knocks. Yeah, I went to the University of Phoenix. Yes, I have a master's degree. Yes, all that other stuff. But it's life. And like we were talking about, just jumping into it. And I think I said it before, I sent you that message. We're 2 ex-corporate whores living our life because we jumped. And I kind of got pushed, but hey, I'm happy to be pushed. And sometimes we need that push. So we're here to say that. I just want to capture a couple of these comments so we don't miss that. Let's see. Teresa says, one of the silver linings of the pandemic is that I've had the opportunity to be a part of groups like this and meet a community of positive influences that are consistently challenging us to do our best. Yes, Teresa, thank you so much. You're always here. We always appreciate you being here and engaging with us and offering your comments and your feedback. Yes, this is a community. This is a family. This is a crew. We're calling you guys the Unfiltered Crew because that's what we want. We were like family. I mean, everything just ties in to be able to say that. And that's what we're going to do every week. Whether you take our program or not, you can show up for the next 52 episodes and be like, holy shit, I got 52 lessons and I'm going to learn that shit. And then maybe the following year, you have enough financial resources and you join our program then. This is a buildup. This is momentum. This is a grassroots effort for us to connect with people outside of all the other shit that's going on and the banner ads that you see and, oh, come do this. This is like an intimate setting where you can sit there and say, hey, listen, I'm free to be who I need to be. And, that's one of the most important aspects of what it is that we do, is that whoever you are, wherever you're at in your journey, that is cool. That's where you're exactly supposed to be. It's where you're going forward. It's being proactive about that. So Stacy says, what to do when life's such a mess that there are a million things to fix? I'm going to give this one a really easy answer. Start. Just start. Just pick one and do it. Pick the next one and do it. Create a list of 3 things you want to accomplish every day. Some people make a list of 10 or 5. I used to make a list of 5. Then I'd be disappointed if I got 4. So now I make a list of 3. And if I get those 3, man, I'm excited. Then I have another list of 3. If I get that one done, I've got 6 done that day. You just got to get started. And for me, it's identifying and eating. Brian Tracy wrote a great book called Eat That Frog First, or Eat the Biggest Frog First. And because we always put off the thing that we don't want to do until the end. So if I have a list of 7 things to do, usually, I don't know about you, Scott, but I used to put the biggest thing at the bottom of the list. I'm like, I don't want. I'm going to save that for later. I don't want to do that. I'm going to do some of these. And then you all throughout those tasks that you're doing, you're thinking, oh man, I still got to do that other one. So how well are you doing those tasks? Because you're constantly thinking in your mind, I still got to do that one. I still got to do that one. I still got to do that one. Brian Tracy says, eat that one first. Get that big anomaly out of the way. What's going to move your needle closer to being able to be closer to whatever your dream is? Darren Hardy, the publisher or the editor for Success Magazine, wrote a book called The Compound Principle. And in that, he says, just do one thing and do one thing. And you start building that confidence. You start building that inertia. You start feeling good. I checked a couple things off my list. Just keep doing it and just knock it out. I promise you, Stacey, you'll get it done. And every time you do it, you're going to feel much better. What do you think about that answer, Scott? Or what do you think about that?
You said the same thing I would say. Yeah, you said it perfect. And honestly, it's a one thing at a time. And I do exactly that when I eat, actually. I've trained myself since I was a little kid to do that without knowing I was doing it. I knew that I liked the meat the most, and I knew I hated the vegetables. So if I ate the vegetables first, then no one's going to complain I didn't eat my vegetables. So I eat them. I'd eat the potatoes, and then I'd eat the meat, and then I was happy. And then if there was dessert, I get dessert. No one ever had to tell me to eat my food because I eat everything in an order of what I don't want to what I want. And then there's a prize. There's always a prize, and I did that with everything. So this comes very natural to me. When I see 20 things to do, I'm like, I have to go dig the dirt pile first because that sucks. And then it's done. And then everything I do next is a little bit better. So I think that's the only way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's like the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I want to go back. Hey, good looking devils. What's going on, Chad Pape? What are you doing, brother? It's been a minute. He doesn't answer my damn messages when I send them to him, but that's okay. You can jump on here. Hi, Chad. We love you. Patricia,
real quick too, if anybody hasn't liked Go Love Now, because there's a few people that I don't know if follow us, it's just / Go Love Now on Facebook, because we're always dropping all kinds of good content for you guys through there as well. All it is / Go Love Now.
Yeah, baby. Leon says, I went through a soul searching last year. We walked through my birth to adulthood. It was extremely tough, but it was awesome. Truly helped me do much forgiveness and find myself again. Yes. You got to travel that path. You got to travel the journey. You have to make that. You have to go back and really identify with yourself as a child and be able to forgive yourself and understand. I mean, we said it so many times, Scott, we're born without the emotional intelligence and we're thrown into a world of emotion. Like you just said, so apropos. And the fact that, we're given all this stuff, but we're never taught how to have emotional intelligence, how to process our emotions and our feelings. Oh, get over it. Just toughen up and da-da-da. Like, okay, it's not okay to be hurt because, I wasn't picked for the baseball team. You're a fucking dick for telling me I shouldn't hurt. Fuck you, And there's Patricia says here, there's no free will, only choice. Yes, Scott, identify and make the choice. You are planting the seeds. Something we say all the time. Stacy Jolly says, where can I learn more about your programs? I'll put the link in here, but definitely we have the program going on, and we have a special for you, Stacy. Message me privately. We have a special thing we could do to try to help you out. Patricia says, of course, Chris and Scott, you're on my team, the Unstoppables. Of course. No, we thank you. We love you.
I think she's saying we plug in it. Are you her accountability person?
Oh, team. Yeah.
I'm the energizer. Nice job. Oh yeah. All right.
Peggy says, freaking love that. Yeah,
it hurts.
Hey, Scott, do you like ham and pineapple?
I do. So I actually like ham, pineapple, and jalapenos.
I just asked you a question. I didn't just say yes.
No, dude, I'm thinking about it. It's making me.
I know.
So
I just realized I did that. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't want to be a dick, but I was like, I always looking for things like, are we the same in that? It's kind of weird. It's really freaky.
I would kill to eat.
Leon says it's life and common sense. As long as you speak from the heart and genuinely, you'll make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, Leanne, how long have we known each other, Leanne? Since the beginning of March. Your growth and your commitment. When you did 75 hard, Leanne did 75 hard as well. And I'm not going to go into your backstory, but phenomenal. What happens when you make a promise to yourself? Results, period. Talk to Leanne. She's amazing. Robert says, fix one thing. Again, Stacy says that. Just start off. Just do it. So many times we just get overwhelmed in perfection and other shit. Just figure it out and do it. Leanne says it's like making a to-do list. What you don't finish, add it to the next day and keep going. Eventually the list will be significantly diminished. That's exactly what I do. Not even a joke. I do that every day on a yellow pad. I sit there and whatever didn't get done today, I transfer it in tomorrow.
Yep.
Robert says, take the obstacle and make it the way. Teresa says, love that book. Need to go back to that principle. What book? Can't remember. Frogs for breakfast.
I thought you were talking about when you're talking about Tony. It's driving me nuts because I spoke with him. He's from Dallas. The guy was a Christian, right? The Christian guy. It's driving me nuts. Like, I spoke on stage with him years ago before he passed away. He died like a year later, and it was an amazing night, actually. It's the guy who was before Tony Robbins. It's driving me crazy. I can't think of his name. Like, I see him. Oh, it's like Ned, or wait, Zig Ziglar. Is that who you're talking about?
No. I was talking about. Okay, so you want to go there?
I was just losing my mind because I couldn't think of Zig Ziglar. I'm content now.
Well, now I'm not, because I'm still trying to figure his name out.
You back there. It's all right.
All right, that's going to be a game. I'll have to figure that before we end the show. Holy shit, we've already been going for 49 minutes. We got a lot of people on here. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate that. This is like an informal jam session, so we love the fact that you guys are supporting us and spending your time here. Any questions you have or any comments, we definitely want to engage with you on that. And just you know, and when I think about 2021 for me, Scott, and I know our kids are vastly different ages. Jackson's 4, and your daughter is now 14, right?
Yeah,
just turned 14. Just turned 14. What do you envision? What do you hope? What do you want to see for your daughter in 2021? Because I know that it's been a challenging year for the teens. It's been a challenging year with school and not being able to meet up with their friends. I know you've done a great job in getting the kids out and going to the skate park and stuff like that. But I'm just curious, what do you want to see for your daughter next year?
I'm going to share something weird with you.
Please do.
It's share something weird. No, because this is what I want to see, and it came to me tonight. So I went to the gym. I brought.
And this was not pre-rehearsed.
Not at all. Not at all. And it's weird, actually. So I went to the gym to shoot hoops because I got the new Air Jordans. I just wanted to just go to one that you can rent, like reserve a court, shoot by yourself. So there's 2 courts, and so I can see who's in the other court, and 2 people can shoot together. So I'm shooting, and this girl walks in that I'm convinced is a girl. All right. And I've seen her play before, and I know that she's played girls basketball before. And the ball rolled over and she goes, thanks, or something like that. And then the dad goes, hey, Mike, and kept addressing him as a guy. And I remember thinking in my head, I'm listening and I'm watching what's happening. She must have transitioned from a girl to a guy because he kept saying Mike, and I could see like a dynamic. And I was thinking, here's a dad who had a daughter, because I've seen them at the gym before. I know she was a girl, if it was a girl. So now this girl is going by Mike as a guy, and I'm literally sitting here seeing this, not knowing the whole story, but I'm watching him. I want for my daughter the comfort that kid has and the partnership with that dad, because I mean, think of like the craziest thing that comes in a family where kids and families and people, they don't have that safe space. And so when I saw that tonight, I was like, man, that is really cool. Because think about the dad, like if he's a dad, daddy's little girl, the whole thing. Now I want to be a guy. It's like, what's going on? We're not trained to do that as older people. And then to sit here and like have all the love to say, that's what I want for her. I want her to have the safety, the comfort to grow. I don't care what comes out of it. I want to be like that guy. And I want to see more people like that guy that are fully embracing the growth opportunities of that child, however they want to take their journey, and giving them the tools. So, and that was, like you said, not pre-planned. That was just in my head because I was watching it. And I was like, wait a second. Did you say Mike again? Did you just say Mike again? And I'm like, oh my goodness. So pretty cool stuff. And here's the thing. We're not trained for that. You know, I'm a very open-minded person, but it's a hard thing to, you know, that must be weird to be that dad. So I think it's beautiful.
It is. It really is. And it's what's interesting is there's a gentleman that I know, I can't say his name, but a gentleman that I know that confided in me, he is going through that very situation right now. So he needs to hear your answer, because that will definitely impact him, because he's been kind of struggling, but at the same time, he's not. So that is a beautiful answer. And yeah, no, it's totally unplanned. I was just trying to think, like, what question can I ask that's different? Because I hit you up and I'm like, let's ask some different questions tonight. For me, and I said this last night on the show with Pam, you know, it was like, for me, all I want next year, when she was like, so what do you see for next year? And I said, I want to be on stages again. I want to be rocking. I want my book done. I see so many different things. I see the whole bamboo analogy. Like, you know, you and I have been working so hard all of our lives to do these things. And I feel like it's going to be bamboo. It's like, where the fucking thing is, I've been pouring water on, I'm pouring seeds on, I'm doing it. And the bamboo's going, and it's going to be like this. But I said, out of all that, the number one thing I want to see in 2021 is seeing my kid running around with other kids, laughing and playing and not wearing a flipping mask. And just being able to have that freedom again to go take him to the trampoline park, to go experiencing. That poor kid is so frustrated and so bored as much as we do things to make it different for him. So so I'm excited for him to go out and play with other kids. But, honestly, I want to go back to your answer because I think that's phenomenal. I think, I've talked to some people who have tried to say and think that they are progressive. Well, I really don't have a problem with that. I'm like, well, the fact that you said you really don't have a problem with that, it kind of suggests that you kind of have a problem with that. So let's talk about that. Where do you find that you embrace that, Scott? That did you see that somebody is born a certain way and that they can change trajectory and say, hey, listen, I don't identify with the body that I was given, and I much prefer this, or I much prefer having this experience in life. How do you have that open mind, and what do you say to people who might potentially be on the fence of not understanding that?
We started with this, tons of failure. Scott Goyette at 10, 15, 16, 20, whatever, lots of stupid comments, lots of ignorant thoughts, and lots of willingness to say, oh, I was silly. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, I blew that one. And so I'm at a point now where, and these are some of the things that we talk about in our coaching too, is if you really can accept the fact that we are part of Creator and we're perspective points in this universe, then we're souls living in a body. So if our soul feels a different energy, a feminine or masculine energy or whatever than the body, that doesn't sound that unreasonable to me at all. If I really stop to process it and don't go to some old school training. So you're telling me that you don't feel like this individual, you feel like something else. Cool. So let's talk about how that looks. It should be, I don't want to say that. It has the potential to be that simple. And we know this, 99% of real deep growth doesn't come from what you learn. It comes from what you unlearn. Because as this world becomes its fullest potential and expansion, we take lots of chances. We make lots of mistakes. So as a collective, we deem something as truth. Once we start to peel back the onion and realize those things aren't truth, something like, I don't think I'm a girl, I think I'm a guy, is almost literally like, do you want fries with that? Like, it should be that simple. Like, you should literally be like, cool. So what are we doing Thursday? Like, oh, that's cool. Like, I want the world to get to that place because very quickly I can go to that place and it feels good because I know that people need somebody like me and not somebody who's constantly just beating people up for who they are. Does that make sense?
No. Can you say that again?
Dude, I'm every time I stop talking, I'm like, is there food around here?
Well, look, Peggy says, Scott, your fasting damn straight isn't affecting your brain. You go.
Maybe it's good for it. I don't know.
Yeah, I what's funny, and Leanne says, not my place to judge others. Exactly. I mean, everybody's on their own individual journey. And what's honest, Scott, is I've always been that kind of open-minded person. My mom taught me that. She goes, why do you fucking care what I wear to work? If I do my job, I do my job. Why do you want me to wear a specific pants, specific this, or have my hair like this? As long as I come to work, if I come to work in my pajamas, as long as I get the effort done, why do you care what I look like? And that has been something that's been ingrained in my body and my soul and my heart ever since I was a little kid, and growing up. And I say this as kind of embarrassingly, but long hair, rocker, always looking the part of this or that. And people get to know me like, oh my God, you're such a nice guy. And I'm like, yeah, you can't judge a book by its cover. And when I think about the evolution that I've been on over the last year and a half, 2 years of understanding soul and spirit and connectedness and all that other stuff that I didn't understand before, and realizing about multiple life experiences and everything else that, our personality, our soul can identify with a particular sexuality based on different experiences we had. So if we've had 10 life experiences in this world and 8 of them have been as men, then we might come back as a woman next year to say, hey, listen, I want to test that, and get halfway through the process and go, I don't want to do that. And I think that's okay. I think it's a part of a bigger word that you said, which I really love, that I wanted to focus on, and I'm surprised I remembered it. Quite honestly, is expansion. I think that is a critical word we need to keep using. I love that you said that, because we haven't said that in a while. We're expanding our viewpoint of what is possible. We're expanding our viewpoint of what could be happening in our world with medical technology and everything else. If you can find a way to be truly happy in your soul during this life experience that you have, then why not go for that? Why not experience that? Maybe that's something you have to go through. But who are, like you said, Leanne, who are we to judge? Me personally, I don't agree with some things out there in the world, but as long as it's not in my life or in my neighborhood or things that are, good. If it makes you happy, then go for it. That's cool. I mean, everybody's struggling to find who they are. And if you can find who you are and it involves that, then more power to you. And like we always say, Scott, and I say it especially, I mean, own your freak flag. Own your freak flag. I mean, I used to never walk around. The bandana was like at home when if I was sweating. I wear it all the time now. I'm like, I'm comfortable. This is who I am. If I walk into a doctor's office, like, oh my God, actually, it was funny today because the way I look, I intimidated this guy. We were like waiting there for like 45 minutes to get our shots. All I did was walk out there. I'm like, what's going on? And they just took one look at me. I'm like, dude, I would sit here and coach you for like 4 hours and shut up and give you a hug. So, so yeah, I mean, I think it's brilliant that you said that. I think it's going to be, a critical part of our youth, because I know that you and I were talking earlier about, who it is that we help the most. And those are the people that are comfortably invisible. But at the same time, with Patricia's help and John Stankiewicz was on here also, is being able to impact the youth and going out and speaking to the youth and talking to Pamela last night. The same thing. She's like, what do you see for the future? How can we help people have a different perspective? And I'm like, I think the hope is lost on the older fucks in this world. I'm not going to waste my time on that. I want to look at, the people that are in grade school, the people that are in junior high, the people that are in high school. Let's talk to them. And even speaking to your class this week was amazing because it reaffirmed, like, you think about college students being, okay, they're adults and The kids I saw in your class, I was like, oh my God, they're just innocent little beings. They don't even know what the fuck they're going to get into. I mean, so we need to be focusing on that. I'll shut up.
No, you're right on point. And I love the fact that when you walk in, you're almost shocked at how young some of them are. And when you see how malleable they are, you see that they have not hardened at all. They really haven't. They're so willing to bend and twist and grow. And back to the point of expansion, the visual that we give our clients, our coaching clients, what we do when we start the program is we're on a runway and we're about to take off. And so literally at a certain point in the program, you start to catch flight. And here's what I always see. When you're on the ground, you're resisting expansion. Expansion comes at the highest point of flight possible, and you can literally ride the fringe of expansion. That's where growth happens so quick. That's where you can go from that moment, like I was saying, where you don't need the coaching anymore. What we really want to do, and why we say raise your vibration, it's really take flight. We want you to be on the fringe of expansion, and that's expansion of all creation. You can get to a space where you can hear a comment like, oh, that boy is now a girl. You're like, nice. That's really cool. Tell me more. And once you start to get to that place, you're not tied up in what's wrong and what's right. You start to get into a place like, where does this go? How does this grow? How do I continue to learn more and understand more and become somebody who not only embraces expansion, but it resonates so deeply, they become expansion. So every time you take a breath, you grow. Every time you do a fast, you grow. Every time you have a show, you grow. Every time you're in conversation, you grow. And you love it. You never want that stagnancy.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Trisha, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you being here. Love you. She says for 2021, I want to see more people turn off the programming and turn on the adventures. Make your own story. Stop watching the one that's in the box. Absolutely, Trisha. We talk about that. I mean, the thing that's most surprising about ourselves is the fact that when we're kids, we are hang on a sec. We are curious and we're adventurous and And then what happens? Again, the conditioning happens. Stop putting your head in the clouds. Stop. You need to be more realistic. You need to have something that's safe and that's secure and all this other stuff. And we forget that curiosity and that adventure. And that's one thing, me personally, I'm looking forward to in 2021 and beyond, is as my son is now 4 years old, is being able to set out and do road trips with our family and be like, okay, let's go here. Let's go be curious. Let's go explore. Let's go, just retaining that or getting back to that sense of play. So yeah, Trisha, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. It's just being more involved in your life, just being more active in your life. Scott and I were talking about this in Monday's class, is the fact that, whatever it is you're focusing on, that's probably more than what you're going to get. Samuel, thank you so much for being here, buddy. Thank you for the friend request too, by the way. A good question opens the mind. A smart ass statement closes it. What's the best question you asked this week? Ooh, well, if I got to take note with the smart ass part, because I'm a smart ass. So my smart ass statements don't always close it. They often actually get people to think about it. But what's the best question you asked this week? I love that, Samuel. Thank you. What's the best question you asked this week, Scott? And then we got to round it out because it's already been an hour and people are probably want to go do something else.
The best question I asked this week.
My drink is empty.
And that's a really good question. Because you know what, I start to go to conversations with people because I don't remember the specific question. Usually in the conversation, I'm going back and forth. Like when it's got to be with a student.
I'll go first. I just said literally, I want this and I want this and I want that. I'm like, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being absolute, how bad do you want it? And the fact that they took about 4 seconds to decide, I was like, yeah, you don't want it that bad. So that was for me. It was like, how bad do you want it? Like, maybe I don't want it that bad. And it was like a pivotal moment. They thought they wanted it, but they really didn't.
You know, that's similar. Actually, now that you're saying it, I've asked multiple times. I've asked the tolerate word to multiple people. Like I've said that, like with students, I'm like, well, what are you willing to tolerate? They're like, well, I don't know if I want to do this major. I don't know. I'm like, what are you willing to tolerate? Like, where do you want to go? So they're repeating questions. There's a lot of, what are you willing to tolerate? You know, are you willing to do what it takes? Like those are questions that I'm saying repeatedly in some form or another. And they're always within context of what that person needs to hear in that moment. Because, you know, you get to read them as a human and as a coach. So I would say those questions. That's a great question.
It is. It really is. Thank you, Samuel. Teresa says, culture can give you such biases. Growing up in rural Georgia, a lot of them have to overcome and see the world differently from how you were raised. Oh, geez. Girl, I couldn't even imagine. And then God bless Georgia. That's all I can say. Peggy says, willing to push through ignorance, emotional intelligence. We need to push and learn. Yes, Peggy. If we hadn't been already talking for an hour, I'd say, let's get Peggy on here and keep going. I'll go refill my drink. But I got to spend some time with the family, and you got to spend some time with the family.
Actually, I hit the doorbell, and that means it's my daughter's friend, and they're going to the skate park. And I would actually love to join them because it will distract me from not eating.
Yep. Go. So final words, Mr. Scott Goyette.
Final words are, I can say in all sincerity, this has been the most grateful year of my existence because I've been challenged to the core. There's moments that I'm in full misery, and I embrace that misery, and I use it as an emotional catalyst. I use it to take flight. And so everything that I'm doing, I'm sharing with others. And I know that we're all in the same ocean in different boats, but man, I love this. I love this experience right now because it hurts. And I know that growth comes with some pain. So perspective, it's all perspective. Take a good look at where you're at right now, figure out where you want to be in 2021, join the ride with us, jump into it, because that's what we're going to be doing.
Cool. And for me, Scott, my final words based on the conversation tonight, let me think about this. Usually I have like 2 seconds to think about the closing. So I usually think about it while I'm like putting you back there. It's, you know, when I think about the overall aspect of this week and what you just said, even in my own house, you know, this has been a shitty year. Like, this has been one of the best years of my life. Has it been challenging? Yes. Has it been fearful? Yes. Has it been scary? Yes. Has it been uncertain? Yes. Have I been self-doubting? Yes. Have I been questioning have I been every single place that every single other person is in this group and watching this, whether you're live? Yes, I've been there. But I also realize for me, Scott, it's like life is really that. It's like, you know, when you get to 50, I'm going to be 52 in February, still feel great. But you only live so many days. You only have so many breaths. You only have so many moments. And you know me, I pound that to death because it's been one of the greatest learning experiences of my life is really to be in the moment, enjoying the fire, enjoying you guys, enjoying all you guys. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sitting here embracing this. I love you guys. I seriously do, because it is absolutely without a doubt what I'm meant to do in this world, what I love to do in this world. And for you guys out there, I really just send you a lot of love and a lot of hugs and a lot of warmth. I send you the ability to forgive yourself, to forgive others, to have empathy, to realize that life has happened for you and not to you. And that's a perspective shift. That's something you can decide to change at any particular moment in your life. Say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm tired of being a victim. I'm tired of being stomped on. I'm tired of tolerating all these things. I'm tired of being whatever it is that you've been tolerating and being. Any moment of your life, you can choose to be different. And is it going to be easy? No, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. But again, like Scott says, everything that we go through makes us stronger. Should I show you the tattoo again? What doesn't kill me only makes me stronger. My skinny ass forearms. So we just encourage you guys, whatever it is, however it is that you do it, is get real with yourself, get honest with yourself, ask yourself, Am I happy? Yes or no? Don't even take a minute to pause for that. If I'm happy, yes, great. You're blessed. Focus the fuck on that. If you're not happy, no. Why? What are the 3 things I could change as soon as possible to change that trajectory? What decisions do I have to make? What sacrifices do I have to make? What investments do I have to make? What do I have to do that maybe it's not going to happen overnight, but it may be 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road even. 10 years down the road, you're going to get there. You're going to be there either way. You're going to be miserable or you're going to be fucking successful. That is your choice. 10 years is a long time, but boom, think about the last 10 years of your life, ladies and gentlemen. How fast did it go by? Oh my God, 10 years seems like it was yesterday. Guess what? The next 10 years are going to be like that. And that's what scares me the shit, to be so proactive. And I know it does for you, Scott, too. So we just want you guys to realize that life is very impermanent, but life is about moments. Life is about the vicariousness which you pursue your life, and you challenge yourself to be curious and optimistic and to have fun while you're doing it and believe that you deserve it with love and all the things that come with it. Those are my final thoughts, Mr. Scott. I am so thankful for you for being a part of my journey and just being my buddy and my friend and my business partner and everything else. So I just value and appreciate you. Go have fun with your family, and love and blessings to you. Love and blessings to all you guys. Let me just go through this real quick because I love doing this. Let's just go all the way back. Paul Min, Stacy Jolly, Leanne, Robert, Teresa, Patricia, we love you. Peggy Williams, you rock. Teresa, Stacy Jolly, I'm trying to make sure I get everybody's name in here. Chad Pape, thank you for jumping on. Ellie Lawton, we love you. You're awesome. Make sure we get Trisha, Angel.
Ellie, you got John Stankiewicz. I think we got
Diane Bertini. I don't even know who Diane Bertini is, but hey, Diane, thank you. You rock.
Sam, you said Sam, Samuel.
Yeah.
Peggy, Robert.
Angel.
I said Angel, sir.
Yeah. I have to eat spaghetti. Have a great.
All right, man. I'm going to run because they're literally trying to leave, and I do not want to sit here by myself. I love you guys.
I love you guys.
Beautiful rest of the night. Bye. Thanks for joining us.